All right, good morning, everyone. I am very glad to be here today and to stand with SBA Administrator Maria Contreras-Sweet, who I have to say has been an incredible friend to the city of Baltimore. Thank you very much for your support. I'm pleased to be here with Senator Ben Cardin, with Congressman Elijah Cummings, Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger, Congressman John Sarbanes, BDC President Bill Cole, all of whom stand with me to announce additional SBA resources for those businesses impacted by the civil unrest. We know that more than 380 businesses suffered damages or losses. Most of these were small, independent businesses, and many were minority or immigrant-owned businesses. We also know that the vast majority of these businesses have reopened, but too many are still not at full capacity and are still in need of help. I'm glad to join dedicated partners like the SBA and BDC who are as resolved as I am to get these businesses back on their feet. So, Baltimore City is stronger than ever before. I want to thank the SBA and BDC for their assistance immediately following the unrest. I was bragging to Congressman Cummings about my BDC team and my economic and neighborhood development team who worked in collaboration with the SBA. They visited every single impacted businesses at least twice, some many more times than that, to make sure that people understood what resources were available and people felt comfortable moving forward and seeking that assistance. I'm extremely proud of the aggressive way in which my team has responded and been in constant partnership. The day after the unrest, BDC launched its website, BaltimoreBusinessRecovery.org. They launched that website to connect impacted businesses, and they've worked around the clock with the city to compile resources available at the federal, the state, and at the city level. Meanwhile, thanks to the SBA, 2 assistance operations centers have been opened to give support to these businesses, to facilitate its disaster loan program for affected businesses, and to make sure that our local businesses understand what resources are available through the federal government to support their success. Today, we are very proud to announce that the SBA is increasing support for Baltimore City and will be offering grants in addition to the loan program so that businesses can rebuild as soon as possible. These funds are absolutely critical as small businesses work to reopen and to rebuild. Again, I want to thank the SBA for their support during this very difficult time. We know that Baltimore is stronger than this moment, but we won't have our history defined by violence. Rather, we will be defined by how we come together, how we build, and how we grow stronger than ever before. With that, I want to again thank our SBA Administrator and introduce to you SBA Administrator Maria Contreras-Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rawlings-Blake, for this opportunity and for your bold, steadfast leadership in response to the recent events. But I also want to thank Senator Cardin for being one of the most forceful voices in America and a strategic ally for us at the SBA, representing America's small business communities across the country, but particularly for being such a strong leader here in the great state of Maryland. I'm delighted also to be working with Congressman Cummings, who's been a true friend to the small business community, but a lifelong champion in the fight for equality and economic opportunity for all. We're also grateful for the leadership of Congressman Sarbanes and Congressman Ruppersberger. Both have been persuasive, compelling voices to us in Washington and have brought our attention to the community and the challenges that the people have faced recently. We want to also say to you that we are not just coming here today, we have been here. The SBA is an integral part of the great state of Maryland, and in particular, the city of Baltimore. We are the agency that calls ourselves the 3 C's and a D. We provide counseling opportunities, complementary counseling opportunities to the small businesses who want to start, repair, or grow their businesses, or even scale their business. We provide contracting opportunities for those who are looking for government work, and we make introductions to the corporate supply chain. And yes, we also provide access to capital. So many small businesses say that now that they've got the work and they've got their plan in place, what they want is access to capital. And the SBA, some people have a rich uncle, and in the SBA, people have Uncle Sam to stand in and to provide a government guarantee so that they can get to yes when a lender would otherwise say no. Our goal here today is to help those who've been impacted by the recent unrest events and to address the hardships and hopelessness that fueled it in a long-term systemic way. We can all remember a time when small businesses were the underpinning of urban neighborhoods across the country. Families lived in apartments over their businesses. Neighbors convened in them. Children got their first job from them. Little League teams were sponsored by these small businesses. But hard economic times hollowed out the small business sector in some communities across the country. In some places, this led to high youth unemployment and threatened the economic vitality of inner city neighborhoods. I remember one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King, who said, "What good is it to be able to sit at an integrated counter if you can't afford to buy the hamburger?" We're here to say, if Dr. King were here with us, that we're not going to go back into those neighborhoods to help them buy the hamburger. We're here to help them buy the restaurant. We're here to promote business ownership. The wonderful thing about America is that if you can't get a job, you can start your own. My agency, the U.S. Small Business Administration, exists to ensure that small businesses have the capital, the counseling, and the contracts that they need to grow. We loan money to entrepreneurs who can't get capital through conventional loans. The SBA isn't here to help you buy that hamburger. We're here to help you buy the restaurant. President Obama calls entrepreneurship the most powerful force the world has ever known for lifting people out of poverty. It gives Americans from all walks of life the chance to be their own boss, enter the middle class, and provide a better life for their children. So we're here today to say that we're taking some steps to deliver a number of services to Baltimore's small business community. We're going to deepen our micro capital program to provide more procurement opportunities, to expand our entrepreneurial counseling, to provide some grant opportunities for the innovators that we see here that are thriving, and to review our disaster assistance loan program. One, I'm pleased to announce that we're awarding up to $1 million in microloan capital to assist the small business growth in Baltimore. This includes $800,000 that will be made available in microloan funding to the Maryland Capital Enterprise organization to expand access to capital for underserved businesses. Second, we're going to provide 2 discretionary prime technical assistance grants of $100,000 apiece to 2 organizations, Maryland Capital Enterprises and Harbor Bank Community Development Center. These grants will fund counseling and technical assistance to help Maryland entrepreneurs prepare successful loan applications and to manage their working capital. I want to thank Joseph Morse and George Coast of Maryland Capital Enterprise and Bonnie Berezzi, who runs the Women's Business Center here, for their commitment and their cooperation and for agreeing to expand our partnership with them. I also want to thank Darius Davis and John Lewis of Harbor Bank for stepping up to serve the capital needs of local small businesses. Second, we're going to be providing new steps to help Baltimore's disadvantaged small businesses secure federal contracts. The SBA plans to award a $99,000 contract to an organization we've been working with and has been proven to be successful. That's QCM. And they're going to be providing local organizations the specialized support that they need to get their businesses winning federal contracts. In the Baltimore metropolitan area, there are more than 400 small businesses that can take advantage of this counseling. About half are contract eligible already, and we want to make sure that we're creating the right dynamic to make sure that they win federal contracts. We also have a program that we call the Hub Zone. We have 149 small businesses that operate out of the Maryland Hub Zone. Our targeted assistance can help them devise a federal marketing strategy, apply for a loan, position a product line, or relocate to the Hub Zone to make sure that they are targeted and are more apt to get this work. This summer, we're going to do something else. We're going to add what we call a destination hub campaign. This is where we direct the federal procurement buyers to the Hub Zone here to make sure that they're aware of the small businesses that are available to be reckoned with. We're going to connect these small business owners with the federal buyers and the prime contractors of the federal government. These personal interactions are so important to make sure that we have success. Third, we're going to be holding a roundtable for Baltimore's innovators. You're doing so much important work around Johns Hopkins University, but there's also so many other millennials that are ready to innovate, to disrupt, and to create new strategies with technology. And so we want to make sure that they know about the SBIR, the Small Business Innovation and Research Program that we have. The SBA is the largest seed fund in the world, and we want to make sure that the people of Baltimore are familiar with the program and that we're getting them ready to apply for these contracts as well. Every year, federal agencies award about $2.5 billion in research grants to America's most promising small businesses. We know there's some important research happening here, and we're committed to helping Baltimore's innovators learn how to apply and to qualify for this kind of funding. Our Office of Innovation and Investment will be convening a special meeting between the local entrepreneurs and the key agency decision makers on the SBIR grants. We think that the relationship will help them get to yes. We've already had some successful initiatives here. People who have received these SBIR grants, like the Athena Group and like Pixel Ligent, and we just want to make sure that we expand that. The fourth thing that we're doing here is that we know that once people have capital and they have contracting, they want to make sure that they're deploying and that they're complying with these programs accurately. So we're teaming up in a more deepened way with the Maryland Small Business Development Center here, and we're providing them an additional $250,000. That's $250,000 in additional support to help entrepreneurs create and retain jobs. I want to thank Renee Sproul, our SBDC State Director, based here at the University of Maryland, for her leadership in this regard. With this extra funding, SBDC advisors will provide services such as loss assessments, strategic planning, loan application assistance, disaster preparedness training, and so much more that small businesses can benefit from. We hope to reach the more than 250 businesses that were affected by the recent unrest on April 23rd. And finally, we've been on the ground since day one. Our SBA Disaster Loan Assistance Program has been available to owners, residential and business, from day one, and we're deployed at 2 different locations. For those of you who have been affected, we hope that you'll reach out to us at the Southeast Anchor Library or at the Pennsylvania Avenue Branch Library, where residents can apply. People can borrow those affected can borrow up to $2 million to repair or replace buildings, machinery, equipment, or inventory. Again, these are loans. So again, I want to say this is a small agency, the Small Business Agency, but we make a big deal out of small business every day. But these businesses can play big outsized roles in the job creation. Our country has experienced 62 months of consecutive job growth. And at Cabinet, I get to say, but Mr. President, that job growth, 2/3 has come from small businesses. So we rely on the small businesses to employ at least half of the private workforce across our country. We depend on them to continue to be the economic engine of our nation. So we're here to salute them, to commend them, and to extend a hand of friendship to make sure that they know that we are there. And again, all of these programs are possible only because of the incredible leadership that we have here in the Congress. So I'm pleased again to thank the Senator for helping us so much and the members of Congress who have made these programs possible through funding. As a result of their support of the SBA, we have reached record lending levels, And I want to add that the 7A loan program, the 504, and our investment companies are running at zero subsidy. So this is a well-managed program that's being supported by our members of Congress. Mayor, we are so heartened by the wonderful, aggressive steps that you've been taking, and we want to continue to partner with you in all that we can. We know that Baltimore holds a lot of promise, and we look forward to coming back where we can celebrate the continued success of these businesses through our deepened relationship. Thank you so much.
To our SBA administrator, I cannot thank you enough for your constant support. As I mentioned before, I made the promise after the unrest that I would be relentless in my pursuit of resources at every level to make sure that Baltimore is better on the other side of this unrest. And when I went to the SBA administrator, when I went to the Obama administration, the only thing I heard was, how can we help? How can we use the resources that we have available to make sure that Baltimore not just recovers, but is able to thrive on the other side of this unrest? And I cannot thank you enough for not just showing up, but showing up in a major way for Baltimore. I look forward to our continued partnership, and I again thank the leadership of our federal delegation who have been masterful in their advocacy. And with that, I would like to bring up for remarks Congressman Cardin, who's been
Senator.
Senator. You used to be. It's not like I didn't. You know, you were fighting like a congressman in there for these resources. Senator Cardin, who, as I said, has, and as the SBA administrator said, has been steadfast in his support for small business, not just now, but in his entire career in the Congress. Senator?
Well, to our Mayor, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, first of all, thank you so much for your extraordinary leadership on behalf of the city that we love. And we are together. Madam Administrator, let me let you know that our congressional delegation is working with unity to provide the federal partnership for the city of Baltimore. And I am proud the role that each of us have played. Senator Mikulski, who couldn't be with us today, has played a critically important role in this. Congressman Ruppersberger and Congressman Sarbanes each have been critical players. But there's no one who has done more to help the community who comes from West Baltimore than Elijah Cummings. And I just thank you so much for the manner in which you have helped us all come together as a community and to work in a positive way on behalf of the people of Baltimore. Madam Administrator, you can come back to Maryland anytime you want with these types of announcements. I've been with the Administrator on several occasions. I serve on the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, and I've had a chance to see Maria Contreras Sweet in action around the country. And she's been an incredible advocate on behalf of small businesses. So she's been to Maryland, as we announced, meeting our goals on contracting by government agencies to help small business. She was no nonsense in making sure that the federal agencies understood their important role to advance small business. She's helped us in Maryland with veterans programs, recognizing we have many veterans that are returning and needed help in regards to small businesses. And now she's here to help the people of Baltimore. And I tell you, I was making note of all the different tools that you're making available to Baltimore, and they will make a difference. This is big news, people, big news for the people of Baltimore, and we thank you. Our delegation was at the White House not too long ago, in which the Obama administration brought all their agencies together and said, look, we recognize Baltimore as a national priority, and we're going to be there. And I want to thank President Obama. I want to thank his entire team. And they have been here. I can mention each of the agencies that have been here, from the Department of Labor to HUD, to Department of Education, to HHS. All have been here to use their tools in a way that we can deal with the issues that we confronted in Baltimore. And yes, it involves our criminal justice system and restoring confidence between the community and law enforcement and justice. And yes, it involves dealing with the core problems that our urban centers have with employment opportunities for young people. But it's also rebuilding the businesses. And that's what I really want to thank the administrator for giving us the tools to move forward in rebuilding businesses and business opportunity here in Baltimore. We understand that small business is the driving force for economic growth. That's where innovation takes place. More innovation takes place in small businesses. More jobs are created in small businesses. And for Baltimore's future, we're investing in small businesses here in Baltimore. And I'm not going to go through all the different tools that the administrator mentioned, but let me tell you something. These microloans, they're critically important. The average microloan's $13,000 in this country. That's $13,000 in starting a business. We're going to now have over $1 million available in city for these opportunities. That's big news. That's businesses that otherwise could not start or stay in business that will be in business. And the dollars that are going for counseling and monitoring, mentoring, let me just explain to you. If you're a small business owner and you got maybe 1 employee, 2 employees, you don't have time to understand how the system works. You need help. And that's what these resources will make available. So these small business operators in Baltimore can concentrate on their business and get the help they need to have a federal partner. So, Madam Administrator, I just really want to thank you for finding the way to provide the help so that we can live up to our commitment to the people of Baltimore. And that is that we're going to be there, and we love our city, and we know our city has a great future. And today's announcement is one step closer to reaching our goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator. When I thank the SBA administrator, I also meant to thank her team on the ground, who've been so incredibly professional and dedicated, and dedicated not just to the businesses, but dedicated to working in collaboration. And I'm very grateful to that. And someone who understands how important it is to be aggressive and present on the ground is Congressman, and I got that right, okay. Congressman Elijah Cummings, who's been on the ground as an advocate for Baltimore for years. And for that, we are grateful.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I want to thank all of my colleagues for being here. I want to start with Senator Mikulski, who could not be here, but all of us know that she has been our team leader, along with Ben Cardin. And I must tell my colleagues, Congressman Ruppersberger, Congressman Sarbanes, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for making sure that we made Baltimore a priority after these very difficult times. And it's been difficult. And Madam Mayor, I want to thank you too, because as I visited businesses throughout the district, I heard over and over again, thanks. I'd let the mayor know that we want her to know we appreciate the BDC, that we appreciate her administration caring about us. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to, Madam Administrator, to be with a lot of your people as we went from business to business. And we went to one business on North Avenue, and I will never forget, this lady had, her store had been ransacked, everything gone, she was repairing. But she said something that I think is basically symbolizes what we are about here in Baltimore. She said, I do not have time to be bitter. I'm too busy getting better. I don't have time to be bitter. I'm too busy getting better. And Senator Cardin, as he laid out all of the things and talked about the things that you are bringing to us, and by the way, thank you for reaching into your toolkit. Yeah, that must be a big toolkit. I didn't even know you had all those things in there myself. But I thank you, I really do, for bringing that toolkit here to Baltimore, because when you think about it, you're talking about grants, you're talking about loans, you're talking about technical assistance. That same lady on North Avenue, she'll be in a position to be even better than she was before this disturbance has happened. And that's so important. And we want to thank you for believing in us and sending a hell of a team. I mean, your people were wonderful. They sat down with people, they answered their questions. I visited the team that was in the library at North in Pennsylvania, all of them very courteous. People were getting help. I've often said that there are two parts of being an elected official. One is policy. The other one is hands-on and helping people get through day to day. And one of the greatest things that we as elected officials can do, and you, Madam Administrator, can do, is when people are going through difficult times, when they feel that all hope is gone, to have somebody to come along and say, you know what, I'm going to help you through this storm. And so, to you, Madam Mayor, to our team, and I get a little emotional when I think about our team, because Madam Administrator, our team, we're from a small state, but we stick together. No matter what happens, no matter where we are, no matter where the problem is in the state, we make sure we rally and get there, and so and be supportive. And so, again, I want to thank you for everything, and I thank the mayor for taking her resources, combining them with your resources, so that that lady on North Avenue truly will be better. And the other thing too is that I join our team in thanking President Obama and his administration. You know, I often say on the floor of the House, they don't give the president credit for anything. But the fact is that the president over and over again has stood up for us. And we want to make sure that we have a model here. There are other cities and states that are looking at us to see how we handle this situation. And I can guarantee you, Madam Administrator, that every dime, every bit of technical assistance, every grant, we will use in an effective and efficient way, not only for us, but so that we send the world a message that things are up and running in Baltimore, that we care about what happens as we move forward, and that, again, we are creating jobs and keeping those jobs growing. And so it gives me a great pleasure now to introduce Congressman Sarbanes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Elijah. Madam Administrator, it's wonderful to have you here and bringing, as Elijah Cummings said, these terrific opportunities and resources from your toolkit that are going to make an incredible difference for the city of Baltimore. There is so much creativity and ingenuity and entrepreneurship that resides in the people of Baltimore City, all across the city. The challenge for us is to make sure that we deploy resources in a way that makes sure that everyone who wants to demonstrate that creativity has a real opportunity to do so. In our country right now, we're beginning to experience an economic recovery, but there's also a discussion of whether that recovery will leave some people behind. And so the challenge for us as a nation is to make sure that as we recover, everybody is a part of that recovery. Our challenge for us as a city, and this is a challenge for any city across America, is to make sure that as the city gets stronger, everybody gets stronger in the city. And the tools that you're bringing to bear today are going to make sure that we exercise the best effort to make sure everybody is part of a strong Baltimore moving forward. The last thing I will say is that, and this sort of follows on what Congressman Cummings just said about the attention and the commitment that we can tell is going to be ongoing and sustaining from the Obama administration in the wake of the difficulty that we've had over the last few weeks. We've had the Attorney General come. We've had the Secretary of Labor, Tom Perez, has come to the city of Baltimore. Arnie Duncan, the Secretary of Education, now the SBA Administrator. Their coming here is an expression of confidence in Baltimore. That's what people need to understand. This is not a mercy mission. This is not charity. This is an expression of confidence that if you bring tools and investment and resources to all of the people of Baltimore City, this city will move forward and become strong and really be a model, I think, across the country. So we are delighted to have you here today. We appreciate this investment that is coming from the Small Business Administration. And we pledge to you, not just as a delegation, but as a whole city of committed residents here that we will make the best of these tools that you delivered. Thank you very much. And now I want to introduce Congressman Rupersberg.
Well, good morning. I am the cow's tail, I believe. First thing I do want to acknowledge our congressional delegation. We're small, but we come together in the state of Maryland and in Baltimore, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. And Madam Administrator, I'm going to make a couple comments about you, but first I want to talk about where we are right now. Most of us in this room grew up in Baltimore. Some have moved here. We've lived here just sometimes generations of families. I know that Elijah, Ben, and I, and John, we all went to high school in the Baltimore City area. And we love our city. We love our Ravens. We love our Orioles. We love everything about Baltimore. And Baltimore had a slip, and a negative into a positive. I think that's the way we have to look at it. And John, I like your words when you said this isn't a mercy mission. This is a team coming together from a federal, state, and local level. We need to reach out to our communities. I know our ministers got involved in the process. We need to work and help our police department develop relationships with communities, yet our police department must be strong to protect us all, and that's important. We also need to let people in the suburbs, because you know, when you live in the suburbs, and all of us represent the suburbs of Baltimore, everybody lives in other parts other than the city. It's all about Baltimore. It's not about whether you're in Howard, Hartford, it's about Baltimore. And we have to stand strong for Baltimore. Now, we're going to work hard. We have a lot of work to do. And Mayor, you have a very difficult job. And I know those of us who've managed a major jurisdiction, it's not easy. And you have a team that's trying to do the best you can. And the only thing I can say is that we're there with you. We're there. We're going to be behind you. We're going to work in the areas that you need to work in. But the good news is that the message and the issue is on the table of what we have to do. Now we have to have a plan to do it. And that's why I want to roll into you, Madam Administrator, because I'm so impressed with the SBA. Came here right away. And one of the most important things we have to do in our communities is to help create jobs and also keep jobs and keep jobs that are there. There were 280 businesses that were impacted by this problem that we had. And the SBA is coming in to work with them. And it's just not about, you know, some people say, oh, the bureaucrats, they just give them all the money. The federal money that's coming in is not just about throwing money at somebody. It's about accountability. It's about training. It's about making sure they're going to succeed. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to come together, federal, state, and local communities, to make a difference in Baltimore. We love Baltimore, and we're going to be behind you, Mayor, and I'm just very glad that we could be here today.
Again, I want to thank everyone for being here, the team that's been on the ground. Thank you for all that you've done. I thank you in advance for the work that you'll continue to do as we move forward with these newly announced programs. Madam Administrator, again, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for making good on your promise that you said that you would look for innovative ways to support our city, and you've showed up in a big way. So thank you very much. And with that, I believe we're opening up to questions, unless I'm wrong. Questions? Yeah, we'll open it up.
Quickly, how long before businesses will start to see some of these funds actually show up in their hands?
These funds are available immediately. We're ready to roll. We've already acknowledged the groups that we're working with. They're experienced. SBDC has been here on an ongoing basis. They're already deployed. And so we're open for business.
Do you have an update on the number of businesses that have applied or started the process or even gone for counseling, but specifically about the disaster loans that are currently or previously announced?
Our outreach has reached all of the affected businesses, and we've been working through our two venues, the two locations that we have here. We've been communicating with every business that we know. We've taken tours with the mayor a couple of times, with the members of Congress, to get the word out. We've been on radio announcements. And so anybody affected is welcome to come in to learn more about how they can, or if they qualify for assistance.
Do you have a number of people who've actually come in to start the loan process?
I know that we have scores. I don't have the exact number right off, but we can get it for you. That's not a problem. We track that pretty carefully. Mm-hmm.
Is there a total dollar amount that we can say is being extended to Baltimore's businesses?
Yeah, the SBA has 3 different programs, right? So it's the counseling program, and so you've seen that we're going to put $250,000 into the counseling. But we have the fact sheet for you, so you can add it up. But essentially, you know, what will come out of the SBI can be unlimited. That's really the wonderful news about it. The SBIR grant program and the training that we're going to provide around that will spur, we think, the kind of thinking that we need to have more in the federal government, which is to have more ideas. People know what their challenges are, and I think anybody listening who can reach my voice has probably had an experience where they heard somebody invented something and they said, I had that idea. It's about execution. And so what we're here to do is to say, how do we take that young person's idea or the Encore entrepreneur's idea and help them take it to market, patent, and then take it to market. And so that has unlimited potential. We have a spoon that we just helped to fund. This young man had somebody in his family that was afflicted by a tremble, maybe Parkinson's, and so he just designed a spoon, a little motorization in this spoon, and as a result, it undulates the wavering when you pick up the spoon. He's created a company, a business, and Google just bought the company out. We helped start Qualcomm. So there are these stories of the potential of this. So I hope that people wouldn't frame it as to whether it's, $2 or $3 million, but rather what the potential. This is leverage that we can use to attract more investment, more partnerships, more financial institutions, more contracts. The Destination Hub Zone campaign is an example. That will attract federal procurement to the region. What that will yield is it's about our imagination and what we can make happen out of that. So I really think it provides unbridled opportunity, and I would hope that the people wouldn't put a limitation on themselves, but rather find that this presents unbridled opportunity to succeed and to grow.
Last question.
Madam Mayor, we heard that you met with the GBC this morning. Can you tell us what the conversation was about, and did they mention the violence?
It was yesterday, and we talked about the violence. We also talked about One Baltimore and how we are going to come together, the business community, foundations, not-for-profits, community, all together to be better on the other side of this unrest. So many people, when I talk to people in the community, they say that they're so frustrated by the recent events, and so many of them, because they know that Baltimore has the capacity to be so much more and so much better than they have seen, and they want to be a part of coming together in new and unique ways to tackle not just our short-term needs, but to tackle in a way that would be an example for the country on how a city can come together with a collective impact to really move the needle on some of these systemic issues. So we talked about all of those things.
Madam Mayor, what would you say to people in the community who believe that the policing is not the way it has been in the city of Baltimore since the unrest, and that is driving up the violence in the city? What would you say to people who believe that?
I would say I've been in constant contact, not just with the police department, but also the Department of Justice, who really talked to us prior to this incident about what was on the other side, that they've seen an uptick in violence in cities where there have been police officers that have been either indicted, charged, found guilty, and we've been working on ways to bridge that gap between the community and the police, and they've been adding their technical assistance to help us to tackle this issue. We've seen surges in violence before. We have got on top of those, and we've been able to drive down crime and homicides in my administration down to the lowest they've been in generations. I'm confident that this challenge is not insurmountable. Is it difficult? Absolutely. Is it challenging us in ways that previously were unimaginable? Absolutely. But we will become a safer city, and we're going to do it in the right way, in partnership between the community and the police. Thank you.
I just wanted to add one point on, because I needed to underscore what the mayor just said. I'm from Los Angeles before I assumed this position, and I experienced the Los Angeles riots. And I'm telling you that what she is bringing to bear, in partnership with our county and our state and federal partners, and what we're bringing here as SBA today, provides for a really seamless network of strategies, programs, and services that have the potential to really make this the bright, beautiful, shining city that this can be. And I think we're well on our way. And I'm here to say, as the federal delegation just said, that we believe in Baltimore. We're committed to its growth. And I think that collegially, in this partnership, we're going to be able to make Baltimore better than ever. Thank you.
Thank you all. Good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for good remarks.
Oh, they wanted contact info?